It's January again, which means that it marks the 5-year anniversary of the challenge disaster. When everybody started eating, getting in the hospital, kids started dying, elderly people started dying. I just censored the word and you're gonna find out why. Because I have something great to tell you guys later in the video that you really have to help me out with. As you've seen in the title, we're gonna talk about things that look like food, but they're not edible. You'll probably break some teeth or start dying after eating those. Please do not eat any of those things when you see them. Maybe just a little bite, won't hurt anyone. This looks like orange juice. Can you guess what it is? I couldn't until I zoomed in. It's all-purpose cleaning. Why did they put it in a bottle that makes it look like orange juice? This one surprised me the most. It says coconut rice cakes, but they're not made of coconut and they're not rice cakes. They're actually shampoo bars. And it really makes me wonder why they make it look so edible when they're definitely not edible. I think it's pretty stupid to get mad at people eating those because they look so damn fucking delicious. How could you look at this and not want to eat that? The bottom ones, the green and the pink ones, they definitely look like coconut rice cakes. The top ones really look like macarons, right? Like macaroons or whatever they call them. Now this one this is not a corn on the cob. These are teeth. And you know what? They look kind of good. I gotta be honest. Put some butter on them. They're probably coasters. They look like chocolate cookies. These are IKEA coasters. You know, the Swedish company that sells you meatballs made of horse meat. That won't surprise me if a kid tries to eat them. It does look delicious. Wait a second. It looks like someone already took a bite. I didn't even notice that. See, they fell for it too. You can't tell me that you wouldn't fall for it if you saw it on a plate. Let's say you have a bowl full of cookies and that coaster was in there. Would you really not notice that it's not a cookie? And this. I think this was some sort of coating, but it looks exactly like either smooth peanut butter or caramel. Honestly, I would still eat that. So now it gets more difficult. The name on the label says gummy bears. Why would you expect anything but gummy bears? Again, I can understand if people would eat this, you know, just have a quick snack during your lunch break. The word gummy bears is pretty colorful. It stands out. And then you have the black text, hard wax beads. I'm not even gonna lie, this looks like something I told my grandma I wanted gummy bears. She'd buy this thinking those were gummy bears. Take a little guess. What could this be? This is pressed coffee. This is a coffee puck. All the residue of, I think, a coffee press, which just looks like a chocolate biscuit. I can only imagine what it tastes like. If you go to your local Chinese restaurant and show them a picture of this, they will definitely give you like pork belly or, you know, a piece of bacon. But goddamn, I would definitely eat this pork belly. Here's another pork belly, except this is a rock formation. They would have to pull me away from this like a child eating Tide Pods. There's no fucking way I'm not gonna eat that, even though it's pretty big. This is like straight up misleading. The jar says mayonnaise. It's a kilogram, which means it's probably like a jar about this big. Why would you call it mayonnaise? Turns out it's like a hydrating scrub for your face, but it's a kilogram and it says mayonnaise. And you know what? Even the jar looks like a jar of mayonnaise. Here, look, this is hand sanitizer. It looks exactly like vitamin water. The fluid in there actually looks like clear vitamin water too. It looks like regular water. The big black do not drink letters, easy to ignore, to be honest. This looks like a small jar of Nutella. It's not. It's a sleeping mask. Why do they make it look like Nutella? And this is what happens when you're the first one to fall asleep. But the best one, the most delicious looking thing ever, is the Tide Pod. We are not supposed to eat them. They were telling us how dangerous it was to eat those and that people made a challenge out of it. But then again, why do you make them look so delicious if they're not edible? How do you expect us to believe that we're not supposed to eat them when you give them 3 different colors and make them look like a fucking gummy? So to clear up this confusion, I came up with something. I started a petition because I feel like we need candy, especially gummies that look exactly like Tide Pods, which is exactly why I made this petition. And 2 people have already signed, counting myself. We really need this. They have to start making actual foods that look like imitation of foods. Just like I showed you that rock formation that looks like bacon or a pork belly. We really need something like that. So I feel like there has to be a market for things that don't exactly look like the real food but actually are food. So it's like the double mix up. So let's say you have a package like that mayonnaise tub that I showed earlier. It says mayonnaise, but the rest of the description shouldn't say mayonnaise, but the double switch up is that it actually turns out to be mayonnaise. I feel like that would really sell well because it's supposed to look like something it's not, but then you eat it and it actually is. So you get, you know, scared, mostly panic because you're pretty sure you're not supposed to eat it, and then your kid starts eating it, turns out to be actual mayonnaise mayonnaise. So you've been scrubbing your face with mayonnaise. Or the confusion with the candy Tide Pods. You put a Tide Pod in your washing machine. Turns out all your clothes get sticky because it's all sugar because it's a f***ing gummy candy. Or getting back to the coconut rice cake washing soap. You take a bite out of it and you know it's not supposed to be an actual rice cake. You know it's supposed to be a soap. And you eat it and then it's actually a rice cake. I feel like there really should be a market for that. But I am not a candy maker, so I don't know how to make it. I feel like that could open up a lot of opportunities for other things, like Tide Pod roulette. You could put 10 Tide Pods in a bowl, one of them being a real Tide Pod. And when you spin the bottle and it lands on you, you have to pick one. But as soon as you touch it, you have to eat it. And when you feel the real Tide Pod, then it's game over for you. It's pretty simple. In the case of the Tide Pods, you could have the real Tide Pods somewhere and leave the fake ones inside of your kid. So they eat it and they're not actually harmed, but the kids still get the joy of eating something they're not supposed to eat. I feel like that's $1 million idea.
Riding shotgun when I'm riding in the Benz truck. Now I'm still broke, can't wait till I go bands up. I sip so much more that I can bring myself to stand up. Count all these checks up, all my homies next up. We up to the top, yeah, Jeff Bezos. Bitch, we count the dawn, get the gang